Do you know how terrifying Wang Yue becomes once it falls into rage? Even Wang Lin, whose will was firm, was forced to retreat again and again in fear. Continuing from before, Tian Lang's pupils widened. What exactly was that enormous shadow? Perhaps after being corroded for too long by the stench from Wang Yue's excretory region, Tian Lang's mind had already become somewhat dulled. That shadow was actually a mountain range. Despair appeared in Tian Lang's eyes, and the excitement from before vanished instantly. On the other side, Wang Yue had already swallowed half of the mountain range, and the confusion in its eyes gradually faded. It suddenly remembered that this mountain range was no ordinary object. It was its own bone structure transformed. The location where the intense pain originated was precisely where its bones existed. At this moment, an unprecedented fury mixed with unbearable pain erupted without restraint, causing Wang Yue to fall completely into rage. In the inheritance memories of the ancient god, there was once a phrase used to describe Wang Yue, a sentence that Wang Lin had engraved deeply into his heart. The rage of Wang Yue is like the will of an ancient god. At that instant, the entire nebula trembled violently. Thunderous explosions echoed across heaven and earth, spreading throughout countless surrounding star systems. Almost everyone could hear the deep, furious rumble emanating from within. Wang Yue's massive body gradually stretched out from its original spherical form, and an unimaginable aura slowly seeped out from within. Wang Lin turned into a streak of light, fleeing without looking back. Wang Yue stared at Wang Lin as he escaped, and let out a roar filled with the will of an ancient god. In an instant, from its mouth, it spat out dozens of smaller Wang Yue entities, each dozens of feet long. Tian Lang was clearly among them. Looking at the starry sky, the excitement in his eyes reignited. This feeling was indescribably exhilarating. Meanwhile, Wang Lin took a deep breath, took out the immortal jade bottle that only had a small amount left, and drank it in one gulp. In an instant, silvery immortal power erupted within his body, and during the intense pain and dizziness, he raised his right hand and pointed toward the swarm of Wang Yue rushing toward him. Body freezing technique. Using that brief moment of immobilization, Wang Lin did not look back and fled rapidly. However, what was frozen were only those smaller Wang Yue entities. As for the gigantic true body of Wang Yue, the one that had become the entire planet Suzaku, it was completely unaffected. With a single charge carrying overwhelming force, it instantly broke the immobilization. Tian Lang, as Wang Yue approached, was once again dragged into that massive fissure. In Tian Lang's desperate eyes, madness appeared. He bit the tip of his tongue and spat out a mouthful of blood onto a massive cauldron. The cauldron immediately emitted a tragic aura, and in an instant, Tian Lang swapped positions with one of the smaller Wang Yue ahead. His face turned pale and ferocious as he roared toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin had long noticed Tian Lang's presence. Without turning back, he pointed again. Tian Lang's body instantly froze. At that moment, Wang Yue's gaze suddenly fell upon the cauldron in front of Tian Lang. From it, it sensed a presence that felt extremely pleasant. Back then, when Wang Yue had not yet awakened, the reason it did not kill Tian Lang was precisely because of this cauldron. Instinctively, Wang Yue wanted to devour it. That was why Tian Lang had endured nearly 100 years of humiliation. At the moment Tian Lang was immobilized, Wang Yue immediately swallowed forward. Tian Lang felt his vision go dark. When he regained control, he had already been dragged near the edge of the fissure again. Being swallowed in and out repeatedly filled his face with bitterness. At the same time, his hatred toward Wang Lin surged uncontrollably. "It's all because of you." Grinding his teeth, Tian Lang formed hand seals and pressed them onto the cauldron. "Even if I must sacrifice my lifespan, I will escape this place," he roared furiously. In that instant, the cauldron expanded rapidly. At that moment, Wang Yue's massive mouth was forced open by the growing cauldron. Tian seized the opportunity and rushed out, fleeing outward at full speed. But at that moment, Wang Yue opened its mouth and spat outward again. The tentacles on its body extended instantly, sweeping toward Tian. Seeing this, Tian immediately took out a screen artifact, formed hand seals, and pressed onto it. In an instant, the power of mountains and rivers erupted across the starry sky. The star compass beneath Wang Lin slowed down. His gaze sharpened as he stared at the massive screen. He had seen this object before. Back then, Tian had said he could not find the true mountain and river map, but had found a screen containing its projection. Wang Yue's eyes turned icy cold, and strange runes flickered within its pupils. As the runes moved, a gigantic finger, hundreds of feet long, manifested in front of it. Though illusory, it felt incomparably real. The rage of Wang Yue is like the will of an ancient god. Wang Lin finally understood the true meaning of that sentence. That enormous finger seemed like it was drawn by the heavenly Tao itself, carrying a pressure that felt like it replaced heaven and earth. It descended slowly. In that instant, Wang Lin felt as though his soul was about to be crushed out of his body. Tian, being the closest, felt it 100 times more intensely. Without hesitation, he retreated and stepped directly into the mountain and river projection. At that moment, the ancient god's will descended. Cracking sounds echoed from the screen as the mountains and rivers shattered. Tian spat out a large amount of soul blood, his body trembling violently, nearly collapsing. But the ancient god's will did not stop. It continued pressing down toward the fleeing Tian. Wang Lin's eyes flashed as he stared at the damaged but still active screen. Seeing the ancient god finger chasing Tian, Wang Lin turned into a blur and appeared beside the screen. At this point, Tian had no time to care. He was desperately fleeing. But at that moment, the ancient god finger suddenly paused, then slowly turned, locking onto Wang Lin. Without hesitation, Wang Lin raised his hand and pointed, not at the finger, but at Tian. Tian's eyes turned bloodshot as his body froze briefly. Inwardly, he cursed Wang Lin madly. Though the pause lasted only an instant, it was enough to draw the attention of the ancient god finger. Seizing the opportunity, Wang Lin grabbed the screen and stored it into his storage bag, then retreated without hesitation. Tian's face turned pale. At the moment the ancient god finger descended, he took out a golden crown embedded with 5 massive gems: metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. The light of the 5 elements instantly enveloped him. Without hesitation, he placed the crown on his head. In an instant, golden light erupted and a massive phantom appeared. Its face could not be seen, but it wore a dragon robe, enveloping Tian. To activate this immortal emperor crown, I slaughtered 9,999 mortal emperors and fused their souls into it. Let's see if it can withstand your will, you beast. As Tian roared hoarsely, the will of the ancient god descended and struck directly onto his body. A heaven-shaking explosion echoed through the starry sky. The ancient god's will did not waver in the slightest. Meanwhile, the golden light around Tian shattered instantly. The 9,999 emperor souls vanished into nothingness. Even the immortal emperor crown flew off his head. Strangely, under the ancient god's will, it remained completely intact. A massive force surged into Tian's body. His body trembled violently and shot downward like a meteor, disappearing into the endless starry sky, his life or death unknown.